everybody, it is Wednesday. We made it to another week. We are working on a new project today. Actually starting a new project for the next couple of weeks. It's going to be Tara from The Walking Dead. Very exciting. I believe her name is Alana Masterson. She's a really fantastic actress. So this is going to be a lot of fun all the way around. Let's go ahead and see your comments here. It's going to press this button and see, hey, we have Wendy and Norm. How are you guys doing? Thank you so much for showing up and supporting our wonderful community we have. So it's always great to see you, Norm and Wendy and Willie. Thank you so much, guys. And we're going to do something very different today. I'm going to do things a little bit outside the box, which is going to be very cool. So I'm looking forward to that. So we have everybody here, which is very exciting. So what I did here is what I did with the Rosita painting. If you guys remember, I basically projected the image twice, the exact same size, and then I went ahead and cut out her silhouette, because I'm able to go ahead and use that as a shield, because since we're working in paper, we don't, hey Jake, how you doing? What's up, man? Good to see you. So basically, we're unable to use Frisket, so we got to kind of make our own Frisket. So that's going to be pretty interesting. It was very successful, I believe, when we were working with Rosita. So I think since that worked out pretty well, we're going to go ahead and continue that. So how's everybody's week going? Has anyone had any experiences with Airbrush or painting they want to talk about? Any questions? That would be fantastic. Yeah, I saw your live stream after the fact, Jake. Really looking great. He's doing a black and white piece in acrylic and sort of mixed media. Really great. Really fantastic. So here we are, and we are basically getting ready to work on it. So I did a very basic projection. I spent about an hour working on the drawing. Even though you project, it's not good enough. Hey, Super Killer, good to see you. All right. Very cool. Thank you so much for coming by, man. I appreciate it very much. So I want to do something kind of cool, kind of Jackson Pollock-y, you know, and I think that will be a lot of fun. So this is where this comes in. See this over here? I sort of practiced this, so sort of like blood and, you know, sort of interesting thing to, you know, with the whole theme of The Walking Dead. So I thought that would be pretty wild. So let's see. So I don't want to kill my surface. So what I'm going to do is, this is basically the same size. It doesn't have to be perfect, but we're just going to cover her up, her face and her hair. We're going to come in with some red, and I'm going to show you how we're doing that, which is going to be pretty cool. Let's see. So we'll cover her up here. So I did these projections yesterday morning. And then after the projections this morning, I woke up very early and went ahead and worked on the drawing and everything like that. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to start with the darkest color. And I'm going to start with black. I really mixed this 3:3, pretty thin. And then I had, these are actually, you can get any kind of bristle brush, really. But this right here is what was, came in with those things that, you know, dye your beards, you know, because basically my beard is gray, but I don't want it to be gray. So that's why I have these things. Okay, so we'll go back to the artwork. All right, so what we're going to do is first we're going to weight this down. Now I don't have metal underneath this. We're just going to use the weight of the magnets to hold everything down here. And let's see. Okay, like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect. We're just starting out something different, you know, keep things alive, right? You know? And, you know, since it's nice and thin, it's going to work really well. Let's see. So you see we have close, we can do it from far away. We can do it much close, get more violent in the spray. And I think this is going to be very interesting. And I do like the idea of having some abstract elements in your painting. This really isn't representing anything. It's representing itself. So the painting has colors. It's not representing anything, which is nice. Okay, just a little bit here and there. Okay, so that's going to be it for the black. What I'm going to do is have you guys just wait there. I'm just going to rinse this off. So that was fast. So now we're just going to wait for that to dry a little bit. And then we're going to come in with a little darker, actually a red color. And then at the end, some white. I think it's really going to be cool. And sort of working together to create something textural. We're going to go in with Airbrush, but we're doing this. And I think it's really going to give some life to this piece. What do you guys think so far? Very different, huh? You weren't expecting it. Again, it's very thin, guys. Very thin. Okay, so I do see that we did freeze. Let's see. Remember, I'm tech support and everything, so I know when something like that happens, I know exactly how to get back there. So it looks like it just froze a little bit. So you guys can hear me right now? Okay. So let's go ahead and do some blood red here. Okay. Just a little excitement here, I think, will really do something. What do you guys think so far, huh? Was it unexpected? Go at different angles. It looks like I'm pretty much going at that same angle. Thanks, Wendy. I appreciate that so much. Yeah, I think the trick is to maybe go at different angles here and there. Okay, so that's going to be it for red, I think. Let me go wash this off. Now we keep freezing over here. Okay, we keep freezing a little bit here, so you guys can hear me now, right? Okay, so we have the microphone there. Now we should be good. Okay, little technical difficulties. I'm not sure what's happening. I'll be right back. I'm going to wash this one off. Okay, so what we're gonna do is I have the white because we're gonna use the red, not the one used for the black because that will be gray. So I just wet this. Now I'm just gonna dry it with the airbrush. See? And now we're gonna go in with white, making sure. Here we go. So I mixed some white. And the white, of course, I mixed was the Bombay India Ink white. And before with the red, I mixed these two colors right here, which is tangerine and crimson. And that was pretty cool. So let's go ahead and get the white now. Let's see what happens. I think it's important that we go at different angles. And then what we're going to do is when this dries, we'll lift this up and then we'll be ready to go in and start the portrait. And you guys can hear me well? Okay. Oh, great. Thanks so much, Wendy. I appreciate that. So what we'll do is we'll just cover this up. We might revisit that, go in with some more red if needed. But just something cool. Sort of give the feeling of the Walking Dead kind of thing going on. I'm going to put these aside. All right, so then we'll just wipe off my table so it doesn't get destroyed, but that comes off with Windex pretty easily, no problem. Okay, so it's still a little wet, so we have to be careful. We still have some wet areas. So what we're going to do is probably wait a little bit for that to dry. But now we sort of have a very interesting sort of background, which I think is pretty cool. Let's see if I lower the air pressure, if I can't speed up the drying process a little bit. See, this area I want to lift up because I don't want it to, when I work on the portrait, I just don't want that to sort of spider on me. Okay, so remember whenever we start to airbrush, we always start at what? 3 drops of India ink and 3 full eyedroppers of water. And that's what we have here, that ratio. So I think I did 12 and 12 here. So what we're going to do is we're just going to move her over as we always do when we load the airbrush. And remember, in the Sotar, always 2 drops. 1, 2. Get out the excess ink. Okay. Put the ink far away so it doesn't spill and kill our artwork. And here we go. We'll go ahead and we'll start this process right up. All right, so I'm just going to make sure. Okay, that's good. Okay, so sound and picture quality is good. So let's go ahead and begin. Always test the airbrush before you go on to the artwork. I say it every week and I mean it every week. Let's see, so we'll sort of go. Pretty much I like to start in the eye area. That's probably where most of the attention's gonna be. So that's usually where I want to start. Willie, Norm, how are you guys liking the Sotar 2020 Slim? Any stories this week? And Willie, you got yours. How do you like it? Tell me more about your experience. I know you didn't get it. Did you get it when we talked last Wednesday? I think you were getting it the next day, right? No. Willie had his already, yes. Because Willie, you said it was great for inks. Okay, so you see I'm starting. So far, so good. That's fantastic. Yeah, I'm very happy with it as well. Like I said, everything's going to look very dark in the beginning, as it always does. And I just, as you can see, I like working both sides. And if you see any like really dark pencil lines, now's the time to really attack them and erase them. Remember when we were working on Aubrey Plaza, how these abstract shapes here on one side of her face really didn't look like anything, but it came together at the end. So Norm says still very happy with the purchase. He also ordered some Reg Dab for, oh wow, Reg Dab. That's very interesting for lubricant. Very neat. And Willie says he's working so much he hasn't had time to paint. That's okay, you know. It'll be there when you're ready, you know, and don't just know that, you know, when you're ready, when you have time, you're gonna be having a great time. So we do what we have to do, right? Right, everybody? You know, Willie and everything. Sometimes life takes us away from the easel. And you can see I can come back and I could cover her up again and maybe do some more interesting splatters in the background, which would be really cool. We got some nice hard edges, but we're not going to worry about it now. Right now we're just sketching, right? We're just sketching. This is how I would do my Train Girl series on, when I was traveling back and forth to Amazon and I was on that long commute. I would just, start to sketch this way and, real easy. Oh, that's right. Super Killer, you had the ink set. How do you like it? The ink set is pretty much responsible for the splatters so far. As you can see, using that particular ratio, 3 to 3, is very important. If you have a higher ratio, if it's darker, you're not going to have the flexibility. And everything's going to get too dark too early. You don't want that. You want to gradually get there. I'm darkening up this area, even though you can see there's a lot of hairs in her eyelash there, but we're just darkening up, setting that up right now. Setting it up for way down the line. We're not worried about likeness, we're just worried about accuracy of tone. Yes, this is the same paper as before, but the paper before was gunmetal, which was darker than this. And then this paper is called Dreadnought, which is lighter. And let me see if I could pull that up to illustrate that for you guys. See how this is much darker. See right there. So the difference is pretty stark. I decided to go with this because I felt that I could use this for the basically all of this mid-tone is right here. And the lights are basically not much. And I could even hit that with pastel, really cool. Oh, cool. So Super Killer's off experimenting and listening. Oh, great. I'm so glad to have you. And it's good to experiment and listen at the same time. So, yeah, the new Eclipse CS. Wow. So that's cool. I love that airbrush. How do you like it so far, the CS? Yep, let's go back to our reference. I put it in the drawer, which wasn't good. So yes, so this, and thank you for writing that, typing that in for me, Wendy. Yes, so this is definitely Dreadnought, which if I could, I think I'd buy all of it because this is really a groundbreaking paper. Wendy uses it and she loves it. Wendy, Dreadnought was the cat, wasn't it, that you did? Which was really fantastic. Yes. So, as you all know, from watching my live streams in the past, I want to get an overall feel. I don't want to tighten and work on one area and move on to the next. That's not how I want to do this. I want to work the ensemble. I want to bring everything together at the same time. So now's the time to go ahead and just get rid of some of those pencil lines. We don't want them haunting us in the past. So, oh yes, so Jake says that kitty makes him happy, which is pretty cool. Yeah, that's a beautiful cat. Definitely. Beautiful painting. I really love it. So, question for you guys. What do you think? You think an airbrush monochromatic working India ink, do you consider that a painting or drawing? Love to hear your thoughts. So Super Killer says he had a Eclipse CS in the past and didn't think much of it, but this new one really is as good as people were saying. So Wendy says painting. Very interesting. And yeah, it's true. I mean, some people can say it's a painting, some people can say it's a drawing. I think it's a painting. I think drawing and painting are closer than we think. So this new Iwata, is this a very new model of the Eclipse, the CS? Is it different than the one I purchased maybe 5 years ago? And if so, how is it different? So I think Super Killer has some really good information for us today. Oh, okay, so it's not updated, but now you're an updated painter. Okay, that happens, yes. Sometimes when you revisit a model that you weren't ready for, and then now, you come back more experienced and everything like that, it's almost like a new brush. I can definitely see that. Oh, okay. So I'm very excited to hear your thoughts and what you think of it. For not just for me, for everyone out there. So thanks so much, and love to hear it. So Jake says placement of all the parts. True. Yeah. A lot of times when airbrush companies come out with a new brush or even an old brush, just a new model, they do change positions the trigger, maybe make it lower or higher. That does happen. So you see right now it's just slow and steady. But look how light I am. It looks dark, but everything's light. Most important thing is to get this unifying feeling of the painting. So really nothing too groundbreaking, just worrying about the larger shapes. So Wendy says she wishes they dropped the trigger a little bit lower. Hey, Super, good to see you. How are you today? Thanks so much for coming by. And Super Sicko, sorry, we have Super Killer and Super Sicko. Super Sicko, good to see you. As always, thank you so much for coming again. Super Killer says that Slim 2020 is an updated brush. It sure is. Updated from the regular Sotar. And I tell you, this is my favorite airbrush. You want to know something? I can honestly say that I put my, and I only say this because it's honest. I wouldn't be saying this for any kind of plug or anything. I put away my custom micron. I'm no longer using it. I'll tell you why. Because it's so finicky. If you drop it, if you breathe on it the wrong way, you got to replace a nozzle. You got to replace a needle. I'm tired of that. I'm tired of how like something goes wrong, it's like $60, $70. So that's why I love this Sotar. I mean, I'm really happy with the sturdiness of it. So it's almost like, like in the Gulf War, you had the Warthog, and the Warthog was reliable and didn't look as beautiful and everything like that. Yep, I did. I put the Custom Micron SB away, so I haven't used it. I tried using it again last week, and this thing is the one I'm using. It just feels right, guys, and that's the thing. It's my personal. I'm not saying it's right for everyone, but I'm saying it feels right. I mean, it does enough detail for me. I don't need to go in with that much detail. I think detail comes with control. And I know I spent all the money on my Micron too, and I'm just as happy with this. And too bad I didn't find this out like 6 months ago. Well, for me it would have been, I think I have my custom Micron, my SB. I bought it like about a year and a half ago, and that was almost $500. Now I'm not saying, now Wendy, you have a Micron, it's beautiful and you use it, and you know, there'll be times when, you know, you'll just be in a Micron mood, right? And you'll just want to use it. But as for me, since I'm working all the time, you know, I'm painting all the time, I just need that airbrush that's going to do what I want it to do when it does it, right? So that's basically my thoughts. And like I always say, find out for yourselves, guys. The Sotar, definitely, you will love the Sotar, Wendy, because one of the things Wendy said to me, right, and I'm quoting Wendy, is why can't they make an airbrush that looks like a pen or a mechanical pencil? And here it is. It really is. Right, Wendy? You said that. And just shortly after came this particular airbrush. Now with this Sotar, very important. You don't want, when you hear it's like sort of at the end, you don't continue. You don't want that. So you're just going to get rid of the little bit. When you work with this Sotar over and over again, you'll sort of be one with it. You'll know when you're close to the end of the ink or paint in your airbrush. And that's when you say, okay, I'm going to go ahead, just blow out the rest and then reload. That's always best to do. So as you can see, I'm moving that over there, and then we'll go ahead and reload our Sotar. 2 drops. 1, 2. And as we say every week, we're surprised on how far the Sotar goes with the 2 drops of ink. Okay. Kind of looks like a heart. Yeah. All right. So Super Sicko says, I have the KC Love Custom Side Feed Sotar 2020. Great little brush. But this I gotta try. So tell me, Super Sicko, the KC Love Custom Side Feed Sotar 2020. That I gotta try. Is that something that you can get from Badger, or is it something that you get from someplace different, like a third party? So Norm says, can you really have too many airbrushes? Absolutely not. I get some money in my pocket. I buy myself an airbrush. What I like doing is bringing other old airbrushes to life. You know, sort of like Frankenstein. You know, we can rebuild him. Gerald Mendez has an airbrush museum in his home, basically over 300 airbrushes. Jake says, ultra rare and old. Yeah, I've seen some of his airbrushes. Oh my God. They look scary. They look like steampunk or something like that, right? So Willie says, Norm, I'm trying to find out. Exactly. I do want to pick up some Paches, right? Just to see for myself, right? I mean, that's what it's all about. I mean, you got to try different airbrushes, and you got to, you know, and that's what these forums and these communities are for, because we can actually talk about our experiences and help each other out as to which airbrush to try. So some are like the 1900, I think. Oh, from the 1900s. Oh, yeah, early 1900s. So definitely. So that's pretty wild that he has that. Just shows his love for airbrushing, right? And Gerald Mendez is a really good artist. I love his work. I love what he does. So here it's very, very textural. So we're going to get texture just with the airbrush alone. We don't need no stinking stencils, right? No, I'm just kidding. We just like getting the texture on our own, that's all. Let's see. So Super Sicko says, yes, you can order the side feed Sotar Badger. Casey Love helped develop it. He paints custom movie mask, and it's not expensive, around $170. Takes about 12 days to receive. And would I get that from Badger themselves? Because that is really cool. Like the Badger website? I got to talk to Ken about that. That sounds exciting, because you know I love side feed as well. So taking those few minutes, Super Sicko, that is great. That is so cool. So Super Sicko, thank you for everybody here giving us that timely information. That is cool. On the next live feed, I'm actually, maybe on a blog post, I'll talk about that. Is it okay if I talk about that on a blog, Super Sicko? Ah, great. So that's, this is so cool. I really love hanging out with you guys. I find myself looking forward to Wednesday night all week. It's really funny. It really is. So that is great for your help, and so we're going to put that on a blog and, give that information to everyone out there. And so Super Killer, he tried a lot of paches. So tell me, and you sold them all. I like how I read that. You tried a lot of paches and sold them all. So doesn't say much about them, huh? And Super Sicko says, when you get time, look up Casey Love. He's a great guy, as is Ken. I am definitely gonna. You know what? If you recommend and you give him a seal of approval, Super Sicko, I already like him. So CaseyLoveStudio.com. How great is that? Thanks, Norm. So that is really cool. So I know what to get everyone here for Christmas. We'll get everyone a Casey Loves side feed Sotar. If only I could afford it, guys, I definitely would. In a second. I'd be like the best Santa ever. Also, Super Sicko says Men in Black. All the movie masks were made by Casey Love. That's some exciting stuff. That is really great. So I'm going to do I already had written it. I'm going to do something on my blog. And right now the blog is going to be on paintedglyphs.com, but it's going to be on inkflingers.com. That's I already bought that domain. So on inkflingers.com, not just yet though, because I haven't had it live. But right now it's going to be on my regular blog on Painted Glyphs. Every week I'm going to do something called not the think tank, but the ink tank. And this week I'm going to talk about PSI, what PSI you need to use, and I think that's going to be very timely. So I think I'm going to come out with that tomorrow night. So that's going to be pretty cool. So I'll email everyone the blog if it's okay. If you don't mind me sending you an email with the link of the blog. And then later in the week, or maybe in this blog, I'll talk about that side feed Badger. As you can see, guys, like every airbrush and ink, we are just going so slow, right? So thanks, Wendy. I definitely will send you that email, and you too, Willie. You guys are the best. So what's the Sotar Slim cup size? This little guy, it's real small. I mean, like I said, I don't know the exact size, but the exact much it contains. I don't put more than 2 drops because I lately I've been painting on a very flat surface. So as you can see, I'm pretty much going very vertical. And if I feel if I put any more in than 2 drops, I'm in danger of some spilling over. But which is good because I'm not overusing the paint or the ink, and that saves money. So that's good. And it also makes it so you know, I have more control, and you know, it's good to make those changes as far as, you know, when you run out of ink, go ahead, reload. I like that. Just gives me more control. So right now I'm just going to go ahead and work on these larger dark areas, and what's that going to do is just really let me see how light everything is. And also sort of have her integrated. So what we're going to do, right now it looks like she's very cut out, but there's going to be some hairs going back and forth. It's going to be really exciting. Then at the end I'm going to do some of the ink splatters on top of the black when we paint it in, which would be pretty cool. So Super Sicko says, is it more for detail or small work? No, I think you could do, like, this is almost a life-size head, right? A little bit smaller than life-size. So it does the job from far away. It's all like getting used to the brush. I think it's great for small detail. I don't think it's great for large backgrounds. I think you want to do something, you want a different airbrush for large backgrounds. One of the airbrushes that I'm exploring about that is this Extreme Patriot Arrow, and I use that for large backgrounds, which is pretty cool. So that's pretty neat. But I don't have too much experience in this, so I really can't talk about this. I like it so far, and look, it makes like a bell noise. Pretty funny. Hey, Chris Cab, good to see ya. How are ya? Thanks so much for stopping by. That is by Badger, that Patriot. So that's pretty cool. Oh, so that was by Badger, and let's see if I could get you guys back. Okay, so it looks like I lost your comments for a second. That's okay. I'm just going to close you out and open yours back up. Okay, hopefully I'll get yours back. Okay, so I lost your comments, but I'm confident that I'll get yours back. So let's see. So you guys, right now I can't see your comments, so you guys can talk amongst yourselves as soon as I get the comments back. A lot of glitches today. You know, it's just weird, you know, I'm not doing anything different. The technology is still very young, and a lot of weird things happen with the advent of new technology. So let's see. So I'm still on there. Okay, so YouTube Live. Okay, so now it's asking me to authenticate. So this is definitely a YouTube glitch. So XSplit, authorize. Okay, this is definitely a different experience. Not sure exactly what's happening here. But the show must go on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do something different today. I'm not going to let this stop us. Let me get my tablet so I can actually see the comments so we can still talk. So I have my trusty tablet here. I'm going to make sure that the volume is all the way off. I'm going to turn this bad boy on. And this way I'll be able to see the comments as we work. Yeah, it was just getting good. So you guys keep talking amongst yourselves about the Sotar, the Patriot, and all that other stuff. And I'm just going to go ahead and load up so I could join in the conversation. I don't have to be part of every conversation, right, guys? I'll just paint and you guys watch and converse. Oh, so any questions? So this particular painting back here, let's see if you guys can see this painting right over here. That is, do a little show and tell for you. Let me see if I could. I'm not quite done with it. I still have some, but this is my Persephone series. This is Airbrush. It's with golden airbrush colors. And I did use some paintbrush techniques there. I used the golden heavy bodied acrylics and their open line, and used that with their high flow, which is pretty interesting. It was a lot of fun. I like using paintbrush techniques along with, so let me go ahead. Paintbrush techniques along with the airbrush really work well. Golden paints are the best for that. So I'm going to YouTube right now, and I'm going to see your comments, and then we'll be okay. We're still not even an hour into it, so it's not really affecting too much. Let's see. Go into, all right, so now we're going into the live stream. See, that's, we'll go back here. Oh, so cool. So we have Heath. How's it going, Heath? Little technical difficulties. Super Sicko says a badass brush. Yeah, definitely. Now, are you speaking about Super Sicko, the Sotar Slim or the Patriot? Because I really love your insight. Jake says, Tim, you must try Atelier Fast Medium Fixative, experimenting with it. So I like to hear what you're doing with that, definitely. And then, so Heath, so very cool. He's doing some incredible painting. He showed me one not too long ago. And Willie says, no stopping, Tim. And that Badger airbrush is pretty smooth. Yes, it is. Super Sicko loves the Patriot. I like it myself. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put this over here, and then little by little I'll just read off some of the comments. So very weird day today, right? It just seems like for some reason YouTube is freaking out, or is it XSplit? Either way, we like Willie says, the show must go on, right? No stopping. Okay. So remember, when we ever load the airbrush, we always test out over there. Okay. So let's see, we have pretty good bandwidth, so that's good. Okay. Anyway, let's go ahead and work on this dark area, because when we go in with this dark area, we're really going to sort of gauge this way, right? It's important to get everything down as if you're sketching, right? If you're sketching, you're not going to sketch just the eyeball and move around. You want to get the whole ensemble. Once everything is in place, then you could say this is darker, that's lighter. This light is darker than this light, but that light is lighter than this. So then you start seeing, okay, this side of the face, all the lights on this side of the face have to be darker than the lights on the other side of the face, and vice versa. So that's my technique in a nutshell. And yes, okay, I think so. So let me pull out so it's on my color chart, it's 3 to 3, right? So it's, I want to make sure that I'm accurate for you guys. So yes, so actually it's right about here. 3 full dry eyedroppers of water to 3 drops of ink. So yeah, right about here. Anything more, it's a little bit lighter. So it actually comes out to about that's definitely the way to go. You can go lighter. Now, it's okay to go lighter, guys. Let's say you wanna you feel a little tentative, so you want to just go even lighter. You can slowly build up some techniques, because remember that the India ink is a transparent, so if you keep going over it's going to go darker and darker. So I would even recommend doing 3 full eyedroppers of water and 2 drops of ink. That's right here, if you feel a little tentative at first. And that's cool, there's nothing wrong with that. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I am just going to remove this and we'll start over. Let's see if we can just get rid of that and we'll remove it. So now that that's removed, let's go ahead and try and add that source again. So we're going to go to widgets. And YouTube widgets, live chat viewer. I think, you know what? Tech support's here, so let's make sure we go ahead and add that. So we're going to go here. I think I'm going to give up on on that. Okay, cool. All right, so that's it. We're throwing in the towel with that this week. Okay, so we're just going to continue with the darks. Over here on this side, we have some beautiful darks here. And I'm not worried about hard edges yet. We're going to come in with the freehand shields to really pop out those beautiful hard edges. Right now, we're not quite concerned with that. And here, everything looks dark, but as I darken it up, everything's going to become much more rich. And these lights right here are going to become much darker. So you can see I'm getting a lot out of those 2 drops of ink, right? And this is just setting it up. This is going to be much darker. Okay, so I think that this actress is very beautiful in an unconventional way. I mean, I think she really lights up the screen. I think I don't know, she just has that charisma about her. Really beautiful. And so, let me put on my glasses for this. So right now we have the Super Sicko says the Patriot Extreme, the one that I was showing. And Jake says it fixes down the surface and doesn't bead. Okay, that technique he's talking about, pretty cool. Norm, this shade of gray is number 3. Chris Cab says he's enjoying these ink-based paintings compared. So Chris Cab is one of my students locally, and we've been working on some of this this technique with him, and he's doing really well. Okay, guys, so I was thinking, and I'm gonna say something pretty cool now. Some people have said, why India Ink, right? Why would you go with India Ink? Well, if you're relatively new to Airbrush, why in the world would you want to learn about mediums and reducers and color and blue shifts and all of that when you're just learning how to use the airbrush? Why in the world would you complicate your life trying to learn all that as well? It's too much. And this is going to help you, because if you go ahead and work in India Ink and you start out in India Ink only, and then we slowly move into color, you're going to be so prepared. That's what the old masters used. They used to study in ateliers. Ateliers, French for like art school. And in those ateliers, they would basically start out drawing, working in, and then they would paint in black and white. And then color came a lot easier because they knew about how to use the materials. It's so important to learn how to use the materials, how to use the airbrush, the PSI, the reduction, all those different things. Learn about values, how to draw the image, how to worry about things such as lines and having them erasable. Isn't that so much better than saying, okay, here's a whole bunch of acrylic paints, and oh yeah, we got Createx, go try Auto Air. No, try Drew Blair's illustration. No, try this paint and try that paint and all of this. It's just so overwhelming. And this way is better because it's like a really good bridge between drawing and painting. I really feel that way. And that's why I think it's taking off. I think that's why so many people love it, because it's such a great way to begin. Now, it's also great for those painters who have been painting for a long time, like myself, who want to have that bridge between drawing and painting. And as you get better with this, I use them for underpaintings. So as you get better with this, when you use it for underpaintings, your paintings become tighter. Your paintings become much more sure of themselves. So really, I'm an advocate for that. I'm not trying to sell this technique. I'm just trying to think about why ink? Why not paint? Another thing is that you could move right into color and use the ink color. And the ink is not thick. You don't have to worry about reducing it. It's already reduced for you. The only thing you reduce is the intensity, because it's already like water. So you have hardly any tip dry, doesn't clog, not one, I would say 50 times less are you getting a clog with India Ink than you're getting with acrylic. Now, Createx, Golden, all of them, they're all suspect, because acrylic is not meant for the airbrush. These little, tiny little holes with the needle is not meant for acrylic paint. So that's basically it. So Super Sicko says he's taken Marissa's airbrush online school, and she uses only acrylic ink, not paint, and other ink. See, she doesn't, that's amazing. So she's right in the same boat. It's so much better. He gave all his Createx painting, Createx colors away. Yes. So you see exactly what I'm saying, that, Super Sicko, that, he's illustrating the point that this is exactly why, as far as those are in the know, working with acrylic paint is sort of not really meant for the airbrush. And you know what? It's making these companies like Createx and all these other companies like gasp, because they realize that they can't make acrylic for the airbrush. It doesn't work. So now we're starting to get smart and saying, you know what? If you want us to buy your acrylic paint, why don't you make it thin like ink? Can you do that and retain the intensity of color, the saturation? I don't know. Norm says, Tim, you have unique ability to really capture the likeness of the subject with the initial sketch. It's awesome. Norm, thank you so much. I appreciate that. And, that means a lot to me. Thank you so much. One of the things that I really stress is when we do go ahead and transfer the drawing, whether it's through grid method or you're doing it through projection, is to make sure that you spend a little more time on the drawing, right? Just a little bit more time. And I think that's really going to help out. It's going to pay dividends if you spend a little more time on the drawing. Even though you projected it, you did a tight projection, we did a tight projection, we can always go in a little further. I'll tell you, whenever I was lax in the drawing stage, that's when I've had problems with likeness throughout the whole painting. So definitely, that's what I attribute that to, But thanks so much, Norm. I really appreciate that. Red White Blade. Hey, how you doing, Red White and Blade? That is such a cool name. I really appreciate that. So Matt from Blick. Oh yeah, Matt. He's a really good young artist. Matt, good to see you. He works at the Blick, not too far from my house. Me and Chris Cab met him. Great guy. He's really super motivated. So it's really cool. So I'm so glad you buy and I hope you come back as much as you can, and you have some great ideas and great experience. So he studies with some really great artists in New York City, right? I think you worked with Steve Assel, which is really fantastic. So yeah, that's so great. So I was on my soapbox about why, Matt, why we should be working with ink through the airbrush as opposed to working with acrylic like all the airbrush paint moguls want you to. They want you to, but they don't care that you're having a hard time with tip dry. They don't care that your paintbrush is clogged and your airbrush is clogged and you gotta spend half the day fixing that, right? They don't care about that. They just want you to buy all their paint. That's all. They're not gonna fix it, guys. So let's fix it ourselves by using something else, right? So Super Killer says, "Oh yes, I remember my question. Tim, do you feel projecting is cheating? I'm very paranoid about people knowing." Okay, this is really cool. So, Super Killer X's great question. Is projection cheating? Same thing, Matt, you come from the New York City Art School movement. I do, New York City National Academy School of Fine Arts, Art Students League. Those people would say, yes, that's cheating. But Johannes Vermeer, right? I mean, everyone loves Johannes Vermeer. Johannes Vermeer, he used a projection. He used a camera obscura. Anyone thinking less of him, he's at all the major museums, the Met, the Louvre. Beautiful painter. That was a camera obscura, which was a box that had a lens coming in a dark room, a box with a lens that would project the light from a little pinhole, and then I would project it onto the screen and he would draw it out. Vermeer, you know, as long as you know how to draw and then you use a projector, it's not cheating because your drawing is going to get better. I think you should be doing life drawing as well as projecting so you can really feel and understand what's happening with the light rather than just reproducing it. So definitely. And I do see a question with Heath. I'll get right to you on that. Now, also, there's the camera lucida, which was something that artists like Gian Augusto Dominique Ingres would use. And a lot of the late Renaissance painters used something like that. So, Caravaggio, everybody loves Caravaggio, right? Do you know with Caravaggio, there's not a known drawing that survives by Caravaggio? He used a convex mirror, I believe, and basically he would have the reflection off the mirror onto the canvas, and he would wet the canvas, and on the back of the paintbrush he would basically draw that out and then go right into painting. So is Caravaggio a cheater? No. I think your projections get better if you're also drawing from life and you also have that experience. You know how to project as opposed to just projecting. It's not cheating whatsoever. I tell everyone I project because I need to get these things done quick, right? I don't have all day. I don't have the luxury of, you know, having, you know, an extra 12 hours or what have you. So we have here, so Heat says, Wendy says it's a tool, you still have to make it look right. Correct, Wendy. Heat says, Tim, what is the background? Oh, okay, you'll see that when you watch this over again. Basically, I just went ahead and I covered her up with a freehand shield that I made. So I projected this twice. I covered her up like this. Did some splatter technique since she's from The Walking Dead. I wanted to do something kind of with energy and sort of having that eerie look. And I'm going to come back later and after I paint and put some red in here. It's going to look pretty cool. So just doing something different. I think that's pretty neat to change things up. Sort of Jackson Pollock thing happening here, right? And then, so we have some more questions. Super Killer, go listen. So Jake says, Super Killer, go listen to Neil Adams on tracing. I met the guy, best artist over the 100 years. Trace, so do I. Willie says, Corey St. Clair is awesome. He loves his work. Super Sicko says, no, Corey St. Clair is a great artist and he uses a projector. The best artists use a projector. The professionals use a projector. So, you know, that's sort of an amateur kind of attitude. I never use a projector. If you are doing work and you are getting paid for it, you want to do it quicker, you're going to use a projector. Jake Henry said Norman Rockwell made 4 times the money of other illustrators of his work because he didn't listen to the BS and he traced photos and got more work done than everyone else. That's from Jake. Very interesting. And yes, Norman Rockwell's not a cheat. So yeah, I mean, okay, it's, you know, if you draw, you know, don't get me wrong, if you draw it out, it's going to have more of your personality into it, and it's going to, you know, there is a different look to it. So that's why I always say draw from life. Make sure that you know how to draw from life and then project to make it quicker. Always practice drawing from life. It's going to make your projections better, definitely. So what a great discussion. So I hope I didn't miss anybody's question. If I did, just ask it again, because all you guys' questions are really fantastic. So let's try a different angle since I can't see you anyway with your comments on the screen. There we go. Now you guys can hear me. Let's lower. There we go. So now you can see my reference and you can see everything. You know, little more of a view of bird's eye view of what's going on here. Okay, so I'm going to work on this chin, and I have some pencil lines, so let's go ahead and erase some of these pencils. Just make them lighter because they're just guidelines. Now, even you put the ink on, it's going to be able to erase, but you know, you want to make it as clean as possible, right? Cleanliness, right? Cleanliness in painting is very important. You guys feel that? Keep everything clean. Keep your mixtures clean. Don't let things get muddy or chalky. Very important. I'm still with that 3 to 3. So it is 3 full eyedroppers of water, 3 drops of India ink. The ink I use is the Higgins waterproof India ink. Very important not to veer from a different brand. Different brands are great. This comes in second, P.H. Martin's Black India ink, but it doesn't erase as well as the Higgins waterproof India ink. Has to be the waterproof India ink. If it's not, it's going to cause problems, doesn't do what you want. So very important. Wendy says she's impatient of tracing, so just get where everything, impatient on tracing, so just get where everything goes. Jake says Norman Rockwell would caricature his tracings to make them more of a stylized illustration. See, but Norman Rockwell studied at the Art Students League. And he also studied the National Academy where I studied. I actually worked in the same studio as he did when he studied at the National Academy. He studied under George Bridgman, who was a great, really good, fantastic teacher about anatomy and drawing the figure. So he learned from Bridgman's technique, so he knew how to construct a figure. He knows how to draw from life. Drawing from life, guys, is always going to help you. You have to have those hours of drawing from life. I'm not going to say, I don't say stop painting, you know, use the projector, do what you have to do, but always draw from life and put in those hours because it's going to make you a better artist. It's going to make your paintings better. Always. Always going to make your paintings better. It's always going to make more, it's going to bring them to life. So, let's see what else we have. So he says, I'm the same, Wendy. I get the basic shapes and go from there. Just about have. Oh yeah, he's doing a full color painting of Lana Parrilla from Once Upon a Time, which is really fantastic. I'm really loving it. I really love when you guys send me emails and show me your work. It's so inspiring. So thank you so much for doing that. Norm does incredible work. All you guys and girls do some incredible paintings. So as you can see, we're just slowly building up. There's no rush whatsoever. So I'm not seeing your questions as quick, but I'll get to all your questions and conversation. So it's important to go in and get some technique. So let's go back to detail. Okay, so now we're back to the detail here. We're not worried about individual values right now. We are just worried about large shapes. But once I projected, I actually went ahead and corrected the drawing. go. So I really like the way we are sort of getting a little bit of Alana Masterson's personality and her character of Tara. She always has this expression like everyone's crazy. Right? It's like they're all crazy, you know, and Tara's just, you know, just trying to get on with everything. So I'm running out of ink, so I'm going to put 2 more drops. 1, 2. Okay. So of course I'm not going to do my first couple of shots. I'm going to make sure I do them on a test and not on the actual painting itself. Always get in the habit of that, because you'll be sorry that one time it just spits on your painting. Ugh. How did it happen? That's why, you know, I go through a lot of the headaches, and I can tell you, and then you don't have to deal with it. Be like, oh, Tim, that happened to Tim. I don't have to deal with it. Thank God, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to actually fix the drawing as we go along, especially like right here we have an interesting space between here. That has a lot to do with her likeness here. If this is correct, she's going to come together. If it's incorrect, we're going to lose her, and we don't want that. Okay. All right, so let's go back to some comments here. So we have some really cool comments. Oh, okay, so here we go. It says, Wendy says, yes, I get confused tracing. Drives her crazy. I wish I liked the tracing part, but she hates that the most. Jake says, reference makes what you're doing, Tim, makes sense. Please use it more, okay? I'm sorry, what do you mean, Jake, as far as using it more? I don't understand, like showing it more? But I basically am not a slave to my reference. That is not what I'm about. I use my reference loosely, because this and this are not the same. This is my hand. This is by Hewlett-Packard. So I definitely use it, but not all the time. Let's see. So let's see what else we have here. So Super Killer, is she still alive on the show? Yes, she is, which is cool. And then we have okay, so, and yes, so what makes everything really exciting in art? When you go to the art museum and you see how one artist sees the figure differently, or approaches the portrait or still life totally different, that's exciting to me. That is why I love the work of Paul Gauguin. Look at the work of Paul Gauguin, guys. The man could paint as realistically as anybody, but you can see his work isn't realistic because he was after something else. He was after something a little deeper, a little more his own. That's what I want to do. It's like when I paint, I want it to be more mine. So I am very sensitive to that. Very sensitive to picking up on things that I want. It's like, you know, we want to. That's why we're artists, because we want to see paintings that only we can create, right? We have these images in our head and we want to create them, so that's important. Oh, okay, definitely. Okay, well, I can go ahead and do that. That's no problem. Let's see if I could work that out for you real quick. Okay, so what I'm going to do, and I can actually do this pretty quickly, so bear with me 1 second. So I'm just going to go ahead, get Tara here. I'm going to download her. Okay, so now she's downloaded, which is really cool, this XSplit software. Watch how quick things sort of come together. So now I'm going to add source, and I just downloaded this from the web, and I'm going to go to media. I'm going to go to downloads, and watch, you'll see Tara in a second. Bam, there she is. So not bad. So pretty cool technique. All right, so you guys can see where I'm going and what's happening, which is cool. So that helps. So I figured we don't have the chat window, so that's a good thing. Thanks for that. That's very cool, Jake. So I appreciate that. But going back, we don't want to be a slave to nature, right? We want to basically have our own way of doing it. What stencils do I use? I know Drew Blair makes a lot. I use hardly any stencils, Super Sicko, at all. I'm not a big fan of stencils. Now, I do like certain stencils. Like sometimes they'll be like, you know who does stencils really good? Jake does stencils amazing. He uses them the way they should be used. Where I don't like the way they're used, I don't like skin texture. I really despise skin texture stencils. And Jake knows that, right? I hate them. Why do I hate skin texture stencils? Because it keeps us from actually learning how to pay attention to values and how they change, and how one shape on the inside reacts to another shape on the inside. You know, their adjacent borders and stuff like that. That's where the skin texture comes from. Not just saying, okay, skin texture, without really realizing what makes skin texture. So I really don't like it. I think the work of Sir Alfred Stevens does, if you see his paintings in real life, the skin texture is just so beautiful. And it's just really, the man really knows what's happening with the light. There's these little micro shapes that happen in skin, and you can even see it. Let's even look here. You can see there's a lot going on here in her skin, but you can actually get that by really paying attention to how this value shape is going with this value shape. And also there's really no straight color. There's some lights in here, there's some darks in there. That's what really is going to give us that skin texture. And I think it's just so much fun paying attention to what's happening and really having that skin texture come out than the skin stencils. I hope that makes sense. Everyone's skin texture is different. That's so true, Wendy. And it also depends how the light hits it, of course. It's all the micro modulations of light. You ever hear that saying, guys, that everyone has the same 24 hours in each day? And I sort of liken that to the other expression, is that everything on her is being hit by the same light source and is being affected by that same light source. So even, you know, her earlobe is the same as her forehead, and it's being affected by the light. And how it's being affected, what's closer to the light source is going to get more play. What's facing the light source is going to get more attention. What's turning away is going to get less attention. What's turning way away is going to get some light in the reflected light up there. Like, you know, so it's really a lot more fun to try and get that texture on your own than some stencil. But you know, if you know, I understand if you like them, then that's cool, you know. Just for me, I'd rather paint it out, right? I'd rather find that myself. Let's see, Red, White, and Blade says, what's your plan for rendering the rim light on the neck in the reference? That's going to be interesting. So I'm going to actually come in matte with some white pastel. That's the beauty of working in the paper. I can actually hit that at the end and it's really going to pop. It's really going to explode. It's going to be so nice. So that's pretty exciting. Can you do one soon showing how to do skin texture? Of course, definitely. I'll definitely, in this particular painting, I'm going to go ahead and show you how skin texture is going to come out when we get to that stage. Probably part 4, I would say. Part 3 or part 4. So in a couple of weeks, we'll get to that stage. And can you show what your texture? Oh, yeah, definitely. Maybe one of my editing videos, right? Super Sicko. That would be cool on skin texture. And, you know, how you can look for skin texture and how skin texture can pretty much reveal itself. Very good. Very good question, guys. And of course, just erasing the pencil lines as you go. And remember, it's like making cookies, right? We're not going to taste the cookies just yet. We're just going to stick with the program. We're going to stick with the recipe and know that it's going to come out at the end. So basically now I'm going to come in and I'm going to start. Now this is where I'm going to do some drawing. So right here we have this coming here. We have the neck. And then right about, I would say right about here. So you triangulate, right? So you're going to, this is going to start, let's see. So what I do is I triangulate. So this will start probably, I would say just where the eyebrow begins, right? And then I would say it is at about 5 o'clock from this corner. So we can definitely triangulate where that collar starts. So we're going to go here. We're going to come down right about here. And then right here about 5 o'clock. Remember that? So here. Bring that down. Right about here. And then right here 5 o'clock. And right here is where that collar is going to begin, I think. So there we go. So that's how that's how you draw it out. So you learn that stuff, through life drawing and everything. So sometimes you're going to miss, projection like that. So you're going to have to draw it out again anyway. So it's always good to learn that stuff too. Actually, it's crucial. Okay, so I reloaded my brush. And then we're going to work on some of these darks here. So I'm just sketching, guys. That's all I'm doing, just sketching. I'm not going into any tight detail, anything like that at this time. And as you can see, there's a lot of detail here, and I'm just going to get rid of that as we go. But you can see as I work on this over here, then I could see how the values are. If I don't do the whole thing, I'm not going to see relationships. And that's what, you know, painting is, just gauging all the different relationships. As you can see, the Sotar 2020 Slim really works well with doing large areas. Same thing here. Realize that we can go darker with this lip. Here we're just setting up. We're definitely setting up the turn of that brow there for the eyebrow, which is very important. So let's see what we have. So Red, White, and Blade says thanks, assuming the black is dry. So Red, White, and Blade said, what's your plan? Oh, assuming the black is dry. Yes, definitely. I actually will, as I go, I'll actually erase different areas. Like right here, as I go, I'm going to be erasing, setting up this right here. So then, if I don't erase as I go, when I want to go ahead and hit that sort of light color, I'm going to have a lot harder time. And then what the great thing about this technique, guys, is that you can do that back and forth, you know. You could erase and push and pull, which is really great. And we can do things, which I'm going to show you how to incorporate Blackbeard wheat. That's kind of like a stencil, but not to the point where it's you know, like a skin texture. I don't think it's as intrusive to the actual artwork itself. And Sicko says, can you show a tutorial? Okay, we've seen that. Super Sicko says, sorry, I'm a sponge. I soak up all the info. Don't be sorry. That's what it's all for. It's all for you guys, and you guys to teach me, sort of work together, you know. Tim is sketchy. I've been called worse. That's very funny. I appreciate that. Appreciate the laugh. Super killer. Wendy's laughing. That's pretty cool. So, I think we're doing pretty good with a little bit of tech support, technical difficulties, and we're still moving along, which is fantastic. Having good conversation. And I think great conversation is really what I look forward to every week. So I appreciate you guys interacting and really discussing things with me and together. I really appreciate that. As you can see right now, she's in her baby stage, right? She's just an embryo. She's not quite there yet, but we're getting there. We're just building her, which is cool. Lots of interesting modulations here. So like I said, okay, so you have a forehead, right? You don't want to get into this trap of just having forehead. You want to see the anatomy, what's happening, the orbital ridge, you know, all the muscles here, and the structure of her skull. That's really going to really add to her character. I've been painting portraits seriously since I was like 15, and it never gets bored. It's like playing chess. No two people are the same. You know, it's always something interesting with every portrait that you do, that I do for all these years. And I know these textures, I mean these sort of shadow shapes look harsh at this time because everything else is much lighter than it should be. They will lighten up, trust me, and we'll even have to go darker. Yes, the Blackbeard wheat. So Red, White, and Blade says, hey, what was that grain stencil called? I'm trying to Google it. Yes, Blackbeard wheat. I got this at AC Moore. You know what? You know where the where they buy all the fake flowers and everything? You can probably get it more during this time of the year. So definitely check it out, AC Moore. They have it, which is very cool. So Jake says Michonne or Herschel next. It might be cool. Yeah, definitely. I don't think I'm going to stop. I don't think this is going to be the last Walking Dead character I'm going to be doing, because I do love the show. It's a little light area there, and I'm going to go ahead and try and hit that. The Urban Dictionary, hit that is different. I don't mean that. Just to make sure I pull up that little reflected light there. And this is where the beauty of this particular brush, I can really get in there with those lines. It's really fantastic. Now, I'm not saying that it does better detail. I'd be lying if it does better detail than the Micron. But what I mean is that it's less temperamental. It does everything. And it just feels better in my hand. I feel more like I'm sketching with a pencil than with an airbrush. And we've all been using pencil a lot longer than we have been airbrushing. So it's really fantastic, you know, for that. So Wendy says SaveOnCrafts.com has it for, look at that. Guys, look, Wendy just said that SaveOnCrafts.com has Blackbeard wheat, 40 ounces for $5.99. That is incredible. That's 4 ounces. Is that 4 ounces? Not 40. Okay. 40 ounces. I don't know how you would do ounces of this, right? This is going to be, because it weighs nothing. So 4 ounces is probably going to be a lot. Let's see here. So Red, White, and Blade laughs at the Urban Dictionary when I said hit that. And then Wendy says it is $16.50 for 4 ounces on Amazon, and then weight. So that's funny. So cool. Thank you. That's incredible information. I really appreciate that. Wendy always is great getting that information for us. Wendy is kind of like the second in command of these live streams. He's really been so helpful, and you know, so that's really cool. So Super Sicko, are you in the market for the Sotar 2020 Slim? And let's see here. I will say I do not like the high roller triggers. I gain more control with lowered triggers. I could see that. Lowered triggers, you know, lower to less travel, right? So I can definitely see that. More control. And Wendy says, and I try to find some cheaper way to go. She always does. I've gotten this. Let me show you guys. This is for... Wendy did the research on these. So on the side feed, Airbrush is by Iwata, which is pretty neat. I'll show you. And here I have the Eclipse, the HP-SBS. So what's really cool, the side feeds, especially when you're a vertical painter like myself, a horizontal painter, you lift it like this, but there might be some days where you forget, and I've had that happen and destroy several pieces of art. You can actually use the Aztec side feed cup, and this was like $8, and Wendy found it for me. You can just put it in right, let me see, right like that, not too far in, make sure it's secure, and you have no problems. You can pretty much, it's going to take, you're going to have to go like that to spill. So that's a really, really good a good solution. So you can get these at Amazon for like what, $8, right? So that's pretty cool. You know, or you can do it this way. But if you are doing large areas as well, you can put a lot more ink or paint in there, which is so cool. So that was one of the home runs that Wendy did for us, which was really great. So let's see what people are saying. She dropped the Aztec on the floor and it spills nothing, which is very great. That's what I used the Aztec cups in for my Micron. Super Sicko, cool. So that is great. Yeah. So the word is definitely out there that the Aztec cups work well with the Microns and the side feed Eclipse. Okay, so we're just sketching this out, and let's see if we can just start darkening things up. I do see this circle on her. Now when you're doing a circle, what you can do is just increase the distance, and then you have a perfect circle. You don't got to go in there with a circle. Let the airbrush do the work for you. That's what I always say. Paint in 3 dimensions. Over here, we're going to come in with some dark color again, dark tone. Believe it or not, just darkening up this area is going to make a difference in creating her likeness, because it's the ensemble, right? It's everything coming together. So you see, I'm just sketching out as if I'm working in pencil. And that's what I bring to the table as far as, you know, being in the fine artist world, and you know, having a classical training. I can bring this sort of more of a loose approach to airbrush, which is pretty cool. So that's one good thing. I like bringing that. So Jake's leaving, man. Take care of yourself, man. Always great to see you, and always try and catch Jake's live streams. They're really fantastic on Facebook. He's doing some amazing stuff. Oh, okay. So Super Killer wants me to mention my deals. Ah, thanks, man. So my deal with that I can get you guys with Badger is really cool. Now, it's like a $200 airbrush, but it's marked down to like $114 at this website, and I'll show you. And that website is, let me bring that forward. Okay, for some reason, okay, let's see here. Okay, so we have that here, and the opacity, let's see the color. Okay, so basically what's happening is we're still having some really weird technical difficulties. So this is the code you want to use at the website, which is, let's see, USAairbrushsupply.com, and you want to use the code TimothyPSA. TimothyPSA is really cool because that's going to give you 10% off. It's going to bring down your airbrush to around $105, which is really amazing for this airbrush. What you get for $105, make sure you get the fine one. So you don't want to get the, medium or the, or the wide needle. You want to get the fine needles, the .20 needle and nozzle, which is very important. And let me go ahead and see if I can get that other part. That is so weird. Just having some really weird technical difficulties here today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add sauce. I'm going to, here we go. USA Airbrush supply.com. Okay, I think that's it. And we'll just make this smaller. Wow, we are having just the hardest time today, which is really unlike it. I kind of always pride myself on having really cool and technically smooth live streams, but not today, huh? It's been, so USAairbrushsupply.com. Use the code TimothyPSA, get 10% off. And thank you for your patience with that. It's really, and then you help out the channel. I get a little bit, so you save money. You don't pay anything else. You actually pay less by using that code. But I get a little bit, helps out the channel. Maybe get better camera equipment or stuff like that, which is really cool. Heat Clancy says the 2020 I have is a Dream-1 with the .2, the .3, and the .5. And that's not the slim, that's the regular Sotar. Is that correct, Heath? Because I want to get that one too. That one looks really good. Or Heath, is that the, because I know that 3-in-1 is the regular Sotar. Am I correct? I could be mistaken. So I reloaded my Sotar. Making sure. Now look, I haven't had any clogging, any tip dry. The needle is doing well, and I've been painting for 2 hours. So that is the slim. Okay, great. So that 3-in-1 is exciting. Now, if you purchase anything at usaairsupply.com using that code TimothyPSA, doesn't have to be the Sotar Slim, you'll still get 10% off. So you can get yourself a Mac valve, maybe get yourself maybe a hose, extra hose if you need or whatever, and you'll still get that 10% off, which is great. So that saves you guys money and helps me out too, so really cool. So we have 10 minutes left, and everyone says, let's see, why do you prefer the airbrush on the flat surface as opposed to vertical? Norm asked this question. Actually, I actually prefer a vertical. You know, having it like this. I prefer that, but to teach you guys, I wouldn't be able to do it. So I had to learn this way over the past year, really, doing live streams, kind of perfecting it. And you'd be surprised, you kind of start liking it. But there's so many advantages to working vertical as opposed to horizontal. Kind of precarious going over your painting with the airbrush. More chances of spilling, stuff like that, which have happened with other airbrush. Not with the Sotar, though. And so here it says, Red, White, and Blade says, tank or compressor? Compressor. The compressor I use is by California Air Tools. And you want to have a compressor that has a tank with at least 3 gallons, 3 to 5 gallons at the very least. Because if it doesn't have like the larger tank, the less it goes off. So you see mine hasn't gone off in a while. 2 reasons, because I'm painting at a low air pressure. And the other reason is that I have a large tank. So the less it goes off, the better. So definitely you want to. Now, I recommend California Air Tools because the prices are really low, and it's about, I would say about 40% quieter than, let's say, something that you would buy at a Home Depot. It actually, you can have it in your house and not have your neighbors want to kill you. It's still a little loud. I put mine in the closet. That helps a little bit, definitely. Wendy says, I tried to search the 2020 Slim, no results. The 2020 Slim, are you seeing it at usaairsupply.com? It should be there. So if any of you guys check out and just make sure that that's there. But last I checked, it was there at usaairsupply.com. The thing is, these airbrushes are really selling like hotcakes. I wouldn't be surprised if they're out, but double check, guys. So Wendy says that it is $99 on Amazon. Okay, that's cool. So that's a good price as well. Oh, okay, so they might be sold out, so that's interesting. Okay, well, keep that in mind. I'll contact Ken and see if they're coming out, if they're going to be having new ones soon. So, are we talking, okay, we're not talking about the Sotar Slim, we're talking about the California Air Tools. Oh, okay. I want you guys to get the best price. You guys get a better price somewhere else, definitely do it. You guys save money, you can buy more paints and everything, but if my code helps you, then that's cool. So Ken was really cool with Badger. He was able to give me this code to help you guys out. So I'm also going to be looking for to start showing off some other airbrushes and just to expose you guys to them. Anyway, not a bad first day, right? I think we made some nice progress. by little. We're not building Rome in a day. And so there's going to be some really soft modulations, but what we're going to do is we're going to actually start hitting some of those dark areas. And then what we do is, like, little by little, we start darkening areas as we go, but not getting too detailed that it's ahead of everything else. That's important, that we don't go ahead of other areas too much. It's okay to, where you have your focus, to keep that a step ahead of everything else. That's okay. There's no problem there. But you don't want to go too far ahead. You want everything to come together. Now, it's after 11, so usually my voice goes down a little bit. I don't want to wake the neighbors. I have a loud voice because I get very excited. So we have some more here. Tim, is the Higgins better than Bombay? Super Killer asks. Yes, better. The Black India ink, definitely better for what we do. This stuff's good. It has some really nice covering power, and I really like it. But to erase, the Higgins has much more erasability. So for this technique, it's just 100 times better. You know, case in point, if we want to erase, as you can see, we can really erase quite easily, which is, you see how this erases. And the other inks won't do it as well. So that is definitely a plus. And that's why I use Higgins. I basically started this technique, guys, when I was doing pastel paintings, and I would use India ink and airbrush for my underpaintings, which I started getting better at the India ink. And then I would say about maybe six, 7 months ago, I said, what if I just started doing fully realized India ink paintings? What would happen? And this is how it was born, which is pretty cool. And let's say, Norm says, Wendy, Super Killer is right. Search Sotar Slim. The one that is returned is the right one. It says slim in the description. Oh, okay, yes, it has to be slim, correct. And Super Killer says 2020 SF. Okay, so those are some designations we gotta be careful for. It says, hey Tim, thank you, Super Sicko. I gotta go, I'm subscribed, and the bell is ready for the next time. Super Sicko, always great to talk to you, man. You really had some great comments and a lot of fun talking to you. I hope you have a great week. Talk to you during the week. I'll be sending some information. We're going to do a really cool blog on air pressure. It should come out tomorrow. So I'll notify everybody about that. So take care, Super. Very cool. Okay, cool. So red, white, and blade. Matt, all right, gonna hit the hay. Great talking to you. See you at Blick. Matt, always a pleasure. Thanks so much for stopping by. And I'll talk to you soon, man. Thank you so much. So we're getting close to the 11:30 mark anyway. I think you guys are running out of gas as I am. So this is where I'm going to keep it. And so thank you so much. Had some little hiccups. You know, I really prepared for this, but I'm not sure what exactly happened. I think I'll do some updates with my software. So let's see. So Heath, take care. It's been fun. Take care of yourself. I'm going to send you that blog post. And everyone, it's been really fantastic. So we hit 11:30 almost, 1 full hour, and it was pretty great. Norm, take care of yourself. And so this was pretty good. I'm glad we had it. It was a lot of fun. So guys, have a great rest of the week. Send me some of the work that you're doing. I always love looking at your work, and inspires me. I hope you all have a great night. Take care of yourselves.